another stream. There's no theme for this one, it's just going to be a general chatting about various kind of things. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you can either buy merch from the Teespring link below, or you can support me on Patreon or do super chats, or you can just like the stream, because it does seem to help when people actually just physically click like on the stream, because it seems YouTube shares them more if you do stuff like that. Oh, and I'd also like to say a big thank you to Laserpoint Production, who's on at the moment in the chat, as well as a few other people who've been sort of supporting the channel through donations and that, because I've got a big new Geiger counter on order, and it's a basically one of those like lab style ones that has an alpha probe on it. So basically it's one of those really cool ones where you can get the you know, clicks per minute with the alpha probe on it. Right, yep. Hopefully you just heard me say thank you to me. Thank you, not thank you to me, thank you to you even. I'm getting confused now. But yeah, thank you to you, Laser, and everybody else who's donated recently, because obviously that was quite an expensive purchase, that Geiger counter. But it should be very, very interesting when I get that for the videos. So, basically, the difference between the Geiger I'm getting now compared to like little Soex one I'm getting in the Polish one, and it's like a lab one. Basically, it's where it has the proper alpha probe on it, because with most Geiger counters, like military ones and civil ones, they only do beta and gamma. Lots of the really cool stuff that makes a high clicks is in alpha. And this is one that obviously has the proper speaker in it, so you get the really cool retro ticking noise, and it's got just a really good, easy to read clicks per minute display. So basically, yeah, cheers again, Laserpoint, but yeah, it should be something I can do a lot of videos with, and I've wanted an alpha probe Geiger counter for ages, and it's just been lucky enough at the moment when I've had a load of donations recently and a load of new people come on Patreon, that there's one that's turned up not for a stupid amount of money, because they're scientific equipment, they tend to go for quite a lot. Yeah, Jacob, as long as it's relevant for what the video is, I don't mind, and I can pin it if it's a good comment. The thing is, I think I can only pin one comment per video, so yeah, but regardless, yeah, as long as it's relevant to the video I'm doing, feel free to post them in the thing, but YouTube won't always let you do that. It sometimes just deletes links when people do it. In terms of NBC suits, eBay. Like I'd recommend for most of the surplus gear, eBay. Alright, hopefully you like the M10 for a costume piece or whatever. As I said, they're not very good for real NBC use. They're alright for particulate use, actually, but, you know, not for much else, because it's a cheek filter mask. It depends which filter, but the Israeli Type 80 filters are good, Jack. I think they are ABEC rated. They're definitely ABE, I'm pretty sure they're ABEC. So I think the Israeli Type 80 filters are technically the same as US C2A1 filters. It's just they're called a different name and they look a bit different on the outside. As in K-bar knives, yeah, they're legal. Not to carry around on you on the street randomly or anything like that, but they're perfectly legal to own in your house or take out with you if you've got a valid reason for having it. Ah, it's very good. £10 for an S6 kit. Yeah, that's a brilliant price. So it's got the bag as it and filters and all that. Yeah, the problems with cheek filter masks is they look cool, don't they? But yeah, it's when you start to realise that the filter's one of the most important parts, or it is the most important part of a gas mask, or any sort of respirator. And if you've got a mask where the filter design is not well thought out, you've got a bit of a problem. No, I was just saying thank you to people, Mike, for the donations and all that recently, because I've got that Geiger counter on the way. It's been dispatched now and I've got all the tracking number for it. If I'm really lucky, it will come tomorrow, but I imagine I'll have to get somebody else to sign for it Saturday, or I'll be in to sign for it Monday. That's cool, Riley. Yeah, as long as it makes an airtight seal, the P3 filter pads would work in a PVF. Depends what you mean by that, Avon, in terms of doing a setup video. For the Geiger counter, it'll literally just be doing a video showing it on a table and putting some check sources next to it and watching it click. Alright, thank you very much. Thank you. Funnily enough, you mentioned about ammo canisters laser point, but thank you again. Because this came today. I've cleaned it up. I used rubbing alcohol and kitchen roll on it because it was quite dusty when it first arrived, but M19A1 it says. 200 cartridges, 762. But yeah, like you said, it's watertight. It's got a really strong clasp on this. And yeah, it's got the rubber seal at the top. So yeah, like I said, if you get filters that can fit in it, like you said, these would probably be very good for that, wouldn't they? Because it's a good airtight storage. But what I'm planning on doing with it is putting a bit of lead on the inside and then using it to store all my radioactive stuff. Just so, obviously, then I can just check that there's no radiation seeping through, which it shouldn't. It'd be only gamma that I imagine could get through this anyway. But yeah, like I said, I can put a bit of lead in it if I really want to. Depends what the surplus smells like, because some surplus smells completely different to other surplus. Ah, you've got the same one, that's cool. Yeah, I know you can get these in different sizes. If I make good use of this one for storage... There's a proper mousetrap seal on that. I might end up getting some more. Oh, thank you very much again. Oh, is that the hole you mean for locking a padlock? Or is it like a slightly different thing? I suppose you could put a padlock through that bit, couldn't you, and lock it with that bottom bar and a padlock. I assume that would work. But yeah, I said I might get some more of those at some point. But yeah, I'm going to use this one for not alpha radiation, just radioactive stuff in general. Right, well, what I said, Avon, is when I get the new PC, I'll definitely do a video on that. But, you know, there's no point, because I've already got a video up of my current PC, and it's very outdated now. Yeah, I've already got a load of that lead stuff, Rich, because I looked in the garden when we did a load of tiles, we redid the lead on the roof, I still had the lead around there, so when we finally get some dry weather, what I'm going to do is, you know, sort that out. Well, as in that gas mask sign, and did you get it? Because you said I had, so it's in past tense, so did you get it or did you not get it? Yeah, like you said, a shell one might be good for storing other things, because it'd be a bit bigger, wouldn't it? Well, there'll be more for sale, because the seller I bought it from had quite a few. But yeah, when that new Geiger count comes, I can do all sorts of really cool videos showing how different materials block the different types of radiation more effectively. But yeah, you know, that should be quite interesting. It really depends, ceramic planes, because it's personal preference, like I've always said, and certain suits will work better with certain masks. eBay Jack, like I've said. Well, I don't know what's on eBay Canada, I'm afraid. Right, everything I've got's perfectly legal, so I can just literally go on eBay and buy it. Deactivated guns you have to buy from places that are licensed to sell those, but everything you just buy on eBay. The M71, I've got that weird mask that's like an M71 but isn't technically an M71 that's finished, that has the British World War II filter on it. But no, I don't technically have a finished M71. No, I can't get any of those out at the moment because all the guns on the wall display, it would cock up the wall display if I took them down. And the other ones are behind a chair, so I can't really get them. In theory, Riley, yeah, if it's a decently thick one. There's a Czech NBC suit that literally looks like it's made out of, like, bin bags. There's an interesting mask I saw in a documentary, Shackleton, which was like British Civil Defence people, and they had a mask on I didn't recognise, and I couldn't find out any information on it. I might have to watch the documentary again and then give people the timestamps at some point, because I can't remember exactly what documentary it was, but it was all about nuclear war. But they had some sort of, like, weird mask on. I can't remember if it was a dual filter or not, but it was like a panoramic. I'm pretty sure it was a panoramic lens, but it didn't look like a British military issue one. Well, my GP4 was on the display, so I'm not taking it down. Okay. So yeah, I suppose it depends, doesn't it, on just how many cartridges they were going to fit in the thing laser, because, like I said, what's this? 200 762. So yeah, if you had a 200 556 one, it would be smaller, but I suppose if you had like a 500 556 one, it might be bigger than this one. It's going to depend on both the capacity and the cartridge size. That's interesting, Jacob. Yeah, it should be a good video if you do that. I did have some people from Hong Kong asking me about like ways you can stop tear gas, so I gave a guy a reply on that. I've already done videos before on improvised tear gas stuff, but I was saying to him, like you can tie cloths around your face if you've not got a proper mask, because that at least gives you some particle protection. Obviously like dust masks, spray painting masks are better than nothing if you can't get proper masks. Yeah, it's $20 for Canadian C3 is a good price. Are you on about the guns in the background? There's no AR-33 there. There's an R1A1 SLR, which is a British-built version of the FN FAL. And there's a Lee Enfield covered by masks. Silicon lubricant, maybe Defiant Shackleton? No, I don't even play Rust, so I'm afraid Rust skins will do me no good, but thank you anyway. I'll do another politics stream at some point, because like I said I like having the politics stream, keep the politics off of the normal videos, but yeah. When we get a bit more political development over here, I suppose I could do another politics stream. Yeah, I have Ryder the SR71, SR1 is it? SR71's a Blackbird, isn't it? Alright, cool, Mike. I'm pretty sure they would fit German World War II masks, because when I've tried, although I can't breathe through my GM 38 because it's in bad condition, not like an asbestos thing or anything, the straps are all mangled on it and everything. I've tried screwing 40mm filters in, it seems NATO and GOST filters screw in, so I can't see why an FP5 filter wouldn't screw into it. Yeah, I suppose it depends, doesn't it, if it's like ammo for just carrying for a couple of men, or if it's like a much bigger supply box kind of thing. Oh, thank you very much, Josh, very cool. As I already said to you, go on eBay. You can get the East German NBC suits for like $10 on there. Sometimes £10, $10. Depends again what country you're in. I'm assuming because that donation was in dollars, you're going to be in the US, are you? But I would assume you can either get old US military NBC suits on there, but you can probably get some of the communist European ones for like $5, $10. If not, you can get them from hardware stores where they might cost a bit more, like DuPont suits. Yeah, that's an actual surplus one. It's one of the Warsaw Pact ones, as far as I'm aware. It's like one of the military firing range signs, because you have other ones like tanks crossing and all that sort of stuff. But they have specific road signs for firing ranges. Yeah, it's very good series, Richard Chernobyl. Yep, I've watched loads of the real Chernobyl footage, Bing. No problem, Josh, thank you for the donation. But yeah, as I said, eBay is generally your best bet. search chemical suit, NBC suit, that kind of thing, and see what results you get come up. Because the problem is, because I'm in the UK, I can't really search the US eBay and tell you if I can spot anything good, because obviously it localises your searches. Alright, cool, yep. Jacob's given you some advice there that might be quite good. You know, because as I said, I don't really know for US stuff, but... yeah, plastic chemical suits would work for a decent amount, because, yeah. Basically, with an NBC suit, it really only protects you from atomic dust anyway, which we found out when I did that gamma test and beta test with my NBC suit. It's mostly beta radiation, but because, yeah, gamma wouldn't be stopped by an NBC suit, but... so it's only going to protect you from fallout dust and chemicals and biological things as powders or whatever. But yeah, most chemicals will just be stopped by plastic. Basically, a good way of thinking of it is if you got a really big bit of tarp or something, or not even a big bit of tarp, if you got tarp and you threw chemicals on it, would those chemicals eat through the tarp? If they're not going to eat through the tarp, they're not really going to eat through an NBC suit. Maybe. So unfortunately, lots of stuff does go up like that, but it'll go down again, Shackleton. Well, somebody on here earlier, Avon, said they got an S6 for about £10, but normally they're about £30 on eBay. Unless I can see what the picture of the filter looks like, Ryder, I can't tell you. Do you know what you searched for? And I can see if I can Google the exact same thing, and then I can tell you what the filters are. Radiation, yes, Jack. When I was testing it the other day, Kevlar stops beta rays quite well from going through it. It's not going to do much to protect you from gamma, or it might cut the gamma down slightly. But alpha and beta would be stopped by Kevlar, but Kevlar's not going to protect you from chemicals if they soak into it. Right, CBRN is just a new term they use for NBC. It just means NBC, but the R in it means radiological, so chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear. But it's not really fair to put the R in there, because none of this gear actually stops radiological, and by radiological they mean like gamma rays and X-rays and stuff like that. It's why the old US term for it, atomic biological chemical, ABC, was probably the best term, because by atomic they just basically meant fallout dust. You know, it didn't have a wider meaning of nuclear like some of the nuclear stuff does now. And now they call it radiological, which, like I said, is a bit stupid, because it certainly wouldn't protect you from gamma rays and X-rays. MSA filters would be 40mm NATO, because MSA is Mining Safety Appliances, I think is the name of it. But yeah, MSA is a US company originally, so yeah, MSA filters would be 40mm NATO. But yeah, in theory, if you had a real CBRN suit, it would have to be lead lined, and as far as I'm aware, they don't exist. Yeah, FP5 is a better bet just because it fits GOST and NATO masks, because it's standardised, or normalised, whatever you want to call it, whereas, you know, the issue is with buying a NATO filter is it's not going to fit on a GOST mask without putting extra O-rings and everything in the mask. Raincoats are generally your best bet, Uncle Sasha, just because raincoats are designed to be waterproof, and, you know, they're relatively cheap. But you could use tarpaulin if you cut that into sizes. Bin bags, tarpaulin I think would be a better bet, just because tarpaulin's heavier wearing and generally thicker, and you can still buy big sheets of tarpaulin for not very much money. Different types of rubber might work, if you could just get like rubber aprons or something like that. Avon CT12 because I find it comfortable rider, and I like the design. Yeah, cool, I'll open up Discord now and have a look. Hopefully it doesn't lag my internet out opening up Discord while I have the stream running, but it shouldn't do. Alright, Peach. You haven't heard yet, Peach, because I've got loads of really nice donations from people recently. I've got a laboratory quality Geiger counter coming. So it's £145, quite a lot of money, but it's got an alpha probe on it, which means I can take proper lab style readings of stuff and get it to tick off the scale. Alright, I've got Discord open whenever you put the picture on, Laser. But yeah, I'll find you a video just for the people who don't know what I'm on about, and I'll post it in the thing. I'll just get a little short video. So it's a device quite similar to this one. It's not this exact model. The Discord server is for patrons only, or people who support me in Super Chat. Oh yeah, Josh, as you've given me a Super Chat, if you want to post your Discord ID either here or on another video, I can invite you to the Discord server now because you've given me a donation. Anyway, yeah, if you watch this video I've just linked, this is a very similar kind of thing to the one I've got coming. It's not the exact same kind of meter, but it's that kind of thing, where it's one of the tabletop ones where you have the big alpha probe on it. The one I've got looks more modern. The one I've got coming looks more modern than this one, but it's basically that exact piece of equipment. I think the display on mine goes to 2,000 counts per minute. Poland's making more interesting masks now. For ages, Germany actually kind of made masks. Poland, for the most part, just made Soviet Union sort of derivatives. But now Poland, like Mask Pole, do quite interesting masks. Oh, I can't say Avon because that's a theoretical question. Let me have a look now, Laser, thanks. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, that one's got like the little padlock. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's like a bit that sticks through that bit. Then you put a padlock on it. So yeah, your 556 one's a lot wider, isn't it? For the people who can't see it, the 556 one looks like it's twice the thickness of this one. I like to there kind of thing. Looks like it's the same sort of height, but... I mean, there's a surplus thing, but people are free to just PM each other on there if they want to buy and sell things from each other. Have you seen the Polish MP6 mask, Avon? That's very interesting. There's two variants of it. Is 50 Canadian dollars like 25 actual dollars or 25 pounds? Because for that money, that's a good price. But if it's closer to 50 USD, then that's not a good price for a Shums or SHMS. It's also interesting what Hotshot just posted, signal flags. No, is Newfoundland in Canada? I've never actually been to Canada, sadly, or the US. As I said, there's somewhere I definitely want to go. Yeah, Newfoundland's Canada. Yeah, I've not been to Canada at all, so I've not been to Newfoundland. Yeah, they look like Fashidas, don't they? Or S10s, they've got that kind of look to them. I think they, yeah, look a bit closer to the F2 than they S10 or CT12, FM12. But yeah, it's that kind of mask. I really like the design of that. There's one version they're doing now of the panoramic lens, isn't there, on it? But it's the same, otherwise the same mask design. What, is that in your garden, Killstrike Gaming, making a trench? Have you seen those old US military things that show you how to make the trenches with like the radiation barriers over them? That's quite interesting. Where you kind of do that with the roof of it. You put like I think 2 things on each side going like that, and then flat stuff across the top so rain doesn't get into the trench and it doesn't flood. But the idea is that alpha radiation gets stopped because it falls on top of it. The stuff on top should hopefully be thick enough to block beta radiation, in gamma radiation, although it will penetrate, because it will have to come in at an angle. As far as I'm aware, gamma always travels in straight lines from what I've read. So if the gamma hits it, it will penetrate at an angle, and then it will have to keep bouncing off like on a zigzag, and it loses energy each time it bounces off. Yep, metal certainly can protect you from radiation. Aluminium can block beta radiation, lead can block gamma radiation, but any metal that's thick enough will block any radiation, basically. I don't think I got a notification, Peach. If I did, I've probably missed it. Let me have a quick look for you. So how many hours ago would that have been? Oh, video base, how to make a char cloth. Yeah, that's 18 hours ago, so yeah, I didn't see it at the time. Yeah, my MP5 was only like 20 odd quid for it, but yeah, that's not a bad price, is it? £10, especially if you get an MP5 in good condition. Alright, see you, Ryder. To a degree, Uncle Sasha, yes and no. It can block some of the stuff in smoke, but one of the problems is if there's really hot smoke, like there's a fire, because a firefighter was telling me this when I was talking to him, which was really interesting. He was saying that the problem is filters are no good, full stop, if there's a really hot fire. Because, you know, obviously the fire's burning up the oxygen, and the air is really hot, so you can burn your lungs just from inhaling through a filter, which is obviously why you can have a cold air supply in an air tank as a firefighter. But in terms of, like, if you were in a place where there was smoke, and you had the option of no mask or an activated charcoal filter, yeah, the activated charcoal filter is certainly better than just breathing in the pure smoke, but ideally you need a rebreather or a supplied air mask. Yeah, the army started surplusing the MP5s a while ago when they were getting the MP6s, because as far as I'm aware, they basically got the MP5s when Poland joined NATO, so they could have a NATO mask, and that's why they did the FP5 filters, because they wanted something that would fit the new MP5 masks, which are 40mm NATO, but they'd also have a filter to fit all their old Soviet-style masks in reserves, like the OM14s. So what ended up happening was, because they weren't really all that satisfied with the MP5, and I guess they wanted to domestically make a mask rather than paying for one under license, they'd ended the MP6, but obviously a lot of MP5s probably are still in military service, and lots have been surplused either on the general surplus market or to police or whatever else. That's alright, welcome to the stream, Bossness Gaming, for as long as you're on. It's probably alpha radiation. I mean, I can't tell you what the isotope is or whatever, because I wouldn't know, you know, with all those things like the periodic tables of radiations, what they are. But I'm pretty sure it's alpha. What I'll do is when I get my new Geiger counter, I'll make sure next time I've got a banana I do a video demonstrating the radiation from a banana. But I'm pretty certain whenever I've tried the thing with beta and gamma, it's never come up with anything with a regular Geiger counter, but the lab type Geiger should. Yeah, thank you Laser Point again. All that's going towards that expensive Geiger counter, so thank you. Thanks to everybody for that. And don't forget, Josh, if you've got a Discord account, give me the ID and you can get an invite to the server. But yeah, thanks. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. It does help out. I'm going to be on quite a while yet. At least another half hour. I'll probably go over an hour today, to be honest, because I'm in a good mood. I'm not too tired. I was going to get one of those gimpy cold masks, Peach, but I've not got round to it yet. The seller I bought the dosimeter pen from and that gas mask sign, he had some of those for sale, and I was thinking about buying it at the time, but at the time I didn't. Yeah, potassium. So is potassium the radioactive bit? Because I know bananas contain potassium. Let's have a look. I just want potassium on Wiki, don't I? Somewhere it gives you a shitload of information. So oh, yeah. Naturally occurring potassium is composed of 3 isotopes, of which K is radioactive. Traces of 40K, 40K like Warhammer 40K, but it's like small 40 and then K, are found in all potassium and is the most common radioactive radioisotope, yeah, in the human body. So yeah, the potassium then contains something called 40K apparently. Right, if I go on to 40K now, does it say... According to Wikipedia, it only mentions beta and gamma potassium 40, but the interesting thing is, what was I going to say? That when I've done it with a beta and a gamma detector, you know, like the SOEX one, it's never picked anything up, but maybe it's just not sensitive enough. But that lab one I've got coming should be good. Oh, thank you very much, Killstrike Gaming, I appreciate that. And if you want a Discord invite, Killstrike Gaming, because you've given a donation, please post your Discord ID either in this stream or in another video comment, and I'll add you. But if you're going to do it in another video, if you try and do it sooner rather than later, because the problem is if people donate and then like 2 weeks later, you know, they then give me their Discord ID, I have to go and check which stream they donated on. But yeah, I'm glad you all enjoy the videos, because obviously, like I said, this is like a part-time job and I also work at the weekends, but obviously this is the more enjoyable one for me because it's a lot more nerdy and interesting really than the cleaning stuff. But yeah, I used rubbing alcohol to clean this up earlier, and a load of dirty, well, it wasn't dirty when I started, but a load of kitchen roll. If you want to see what's come off of it, see if I can spot a bit. That's actually faded quite a lot from there. Is there another bit? Yeah, there you go. That sort of brown colour on there. That's the stuff that came off the ammo tin when I was cleaning it because it was quite dusty and grimy. But yeah, it looks a lot better now. It's had rubbing alcohol on it. For people that don't know, you can buy rubbing alcohol super cheaply online, and it's a very good cleaner. The fumes can be a bit overpowering if you use it indoors. Yeah, I know Wiki isn't completely reliable. I find Wiki is fairly good when it comes to lots of science-based articles. It's just not very good on politics things, where there can be a lot of bias to it. But if you're looking up stuff like radioactive isotopes and all that kind of stuff, it is pretty good for that. I'm not saying it's infallible, it could certainly be wrong. But generally it's just like a very big-sighted kind of textbooky, you know, too complicated thing. But I just Control F, type alpha, beta and gamma in, so I can read about the radioactive decay to find out what something gives off. Isn't that how lie's made, Peach? Isn't that a type of ash? Isn't that like wood ash, where they burn wood to make lye? Because that's what I use to melt stuff, lye. I actually don't know with graphite. I know it reacts to radioactive substances, but I assume the graphite in reactors has essentially been enriched with uranium or something, hasn't it? Let me actually search graphite and I'll tell you, because I really don't know that. I just want to radio... There's no mention of radiation on the... page on graphite on Wikipedia. I'm just seeing if it nuclear graphite. Special grades of synthetic graphite such as gilso-carbon also find use as a matrix and neutron moderator. It'll be the neutron moderator bit within nuclear reactors. Its low neutron cross-section also recommends it for use in proposed fusion reactors, because fission reactors are what we have at the moment, but fusion. Care must be taken that reactor-grade graphite is free of neutron-absorbing materials such as boron, widely used as a seed electrode in commercial graphite deposition systems. This causes the failure of Germany's World War II graphite-based nuclear reactors. Since they could not isolate the difficulty, they were forced to use far more expensive heavy water moderators. Graphite used for nuclear reactors is often referred to as nuclear graphite, and then there's an article on nuclear graphite. So you didn't see graphite on the ground because it's not there. There you go. There's the article. Yeah, what I do is I'll show you. I've got... this is the laser. Here's one with rubbing alcohol in. It's probably not the same strength as that label. Here's hydrogen peroxide. I use the hydrogen peroxide to clean my ears out because I get blocked ears a lot, and because I don't have a perforated eardrum, I can literally spray that in that dissolves the earwax and doesn't damage your ear. It dries it out a bit, but other than that, it's very good for that. Yeah, the rubbing alcohol, I buy it in like jerry cans, and then I just keep refilling this spray bottle with it whenever I need to, and that's a very cheap way of doing it. Like you said, you can literally buy 70% odd strength rubbing alcohol, then you can just spray it on stuff as a cleaner or use it as an antiseptic. So I often just have this handy. If I cut my hand and I'm in the house, I just get this and spray it on my hand. I know a lot of people have said, you know, it's not good to use rubbing alcohol on your hand because it can damage nerves if you put it on the cut, but it's better that, I guess, than getting an infection and then having to be on antibiotics, isn't it? But I'm pretty sure like all the things like iodine and whatever else you can put on your cuts are probably not good for them, in a sense. Yeah, I have a feeling the last time I just bought some laser, it was just because I couldn't be asked to water it down myself, and I have a feeling that it was a bit cheaper to buy it in like a 5 litre big jerry can kind of plastic tub as 70% than it was as an equivalent like 90% one or whatever. But yeah, I imagine you get some pretty strong fumes off the 99% stuff, don't you? It can make me a bit lightheaded if I use that one indoors. Just because obviously if you're spraying in a room without very good ventilation, you use quite a lot of it for cleaning, suddenly you're like, ooh, yeah, that's hit me. What do you mean rubbing alcohol have only women's names? I don't quite understand you that, Uncle Sasha. Yeah, obviously it's not a good idea to drink it because I think people asked me about this before. And why rubbing alcohol isn't actually methanol, it is still an ethanol-based alcohol. There is something done with it which means that it's kind of poisonous if you drink it. I don't know the science of that, but I just know not to drink it. But yeah, it could have been Uncle Sasha. I completely forget now who asked it. I can remember the regulars that come on the streams, but I can't remember who's asked what. Right, I don't have a US passcut, but my it's PASGT, by the way, if you're wondering, because it's Personal Armour System Ground Troopers, isn't it, the passcut stands for? Well, thank you as well, Hotshot, I appreciate that. But the British Commando helmet I've got, which is basically a passcut clone in Kevlar 3A rated, that was about 30 to 40 quid, I think. Alright, let me add you now, Killstrike, so I don't forget. Hotshot's already on there, but Josh, very cool. If you're still on and you've got a Discord, don't forget to give me your ID, because you've given me a donation, so you're welcome on the server now. Right, so I need to click that bit, don't I? Then I need to click... What do I click now? Friends, oh yeah, there's a Friends tab, isn't there? Add friend, enter Discord tag... Send friends request. It says I've sent you a friends request, Killstrike, so as soon as you accept that I can send you an invite. Actually, I wonder if I can invite... Yeah, I can invite you already. There you go. I've sent you a friends request, Killstrike, and I've sent you a server invite. There we go. Is it just like the flint's gone on it, Jan? Because that's fairly... Let me get my Zippo. I can't remember the exact mechanism for replacing the flint in the Zippo. Let's have a look together. Right, this is a Zippo. I was just checking it was a Zippo and not a Starlighter. So, the flint's in that little bit there, isn't it? Under the striker. I'm just trying to remember how you get at that. I assume you take the wheel out, don't you? Assume you remove the wheel and then you can get at the flint. Ah, so you take the screw out the bottom, okay. Right, let's do this the field way, which is why I always like having a Swiss Army knife. Ah, when you were saying about Russia the other day, I assumed you were Russian hotshot. Are you like a Russian national in the US, or do you just find Russia really interesting or something, or have like Russian family? Because you were saying about it wasn't Victory Day, it was Russia Day you were saying about, wasn't it, the other day? Because I think I replied to you, yeah, because I know Victory Day was not all that long ago. Right, there's the spring coming out. Oh yeah, and there you go. There's the flint on the end of the spring. So if you need to replace the flint, that's how you do it. It just literally goes through that hole. And there it is, back up under there. So let's just screw that back in. This is where it's like I'm really clumsy, because where I've got autism, or I've got Asperger's, I've got like mild, I'd say it's probably mild for me, but dyspraxia, is it they call it? Where like your hand-eye coordination is really shit. So if I do something enough and it's muscle memory, I can actually get fairly good at things. But if it's like, you know, trying to do something where I'm trying to line something up, my hands are really fiddly and shake quite a lot. Ah, very interesting, hotshot. Hope it's working out alright for you there in the US and everything. Right, screw this back in properly. Right, that's tight now, so that should mean that the flint... Yeah, there we go. That's nice and tight in again. If you're on about a Zippo, Jan, let me show you. I've got the Zippo brand one, but the best thing to use is literally any lighter brand one that's this kind of lighter fluid. Oh, thank you very much, Anon. I really appreciate that. Post your Discord ID if you've got one, and I'll sort you out an invite. So what you do now is you can lift this up. You don't actually have to. I find a Zippo does up absolutely fine without... Oh, you're already in. Sorry, I forget sometimes, but thank you again for the donation. I do appreciate that. But yeah, what you need to do is lift up this bit. You don't have to lift up this like felt kind of bit at the bottom, but you're meant to. And I'll show you how you do it properly. Thank you very much again, Laser Point Productions. Wow, this has been a really good stream tonight for donations. Yeah, you posted the pictures, didn't you, of you polishing one up the other day on the Discord, because it looked a bit like my brass Zippo, which I thought was interesting. But I'm a massive fan of the old Imcos, because they stay a bit... The 2-litre mug, depends what I have in it. If it's a cup of tea, barely anything. If it's instant coffee, barely anything. Let me show you. So we're going to fill this one up live. Oh, I dropped my knife on the floor. So we keep squirting this in. I normally do it till the felt inside looks quite damp, and like the felty cottony stuff inside looks pretty damp. Right, there we go. That's looking quite damp to my eye now. So we're going to put this cover back on the bottom, getting lighter fluid on my fingers. So I'm going to become a human torch in a minute. Put the thing back in. That bit faces the bit of the lid. Right, I'm just going to close that a minute and let the alcohol fumes build up inside, because they tend not to work instantly when you refill these kind of lighters. I mean, butane ones don't as well, but that's a different story. YouTube takes a portion of donations, Michael, but if people donate on Patreon, Patreon still takes a cut. There's literally, as far as I'm aware, no way you can get donations. Maybe PayPal? Mike might know that. But the thing is, like, pretty much every service where people can donate, that service will always take a cut. So it doesn't really work out any different, in all honesty, to me. Because the thing is, even on things like Patreon, once Patreon's taken their fees, you still have to pass it through PayPal, and they take, like, is it 5%, 10%? So the issue is, I don't think there's any service where you can actually get 100% of the donation, sadly, but... it's been raining here non-stop. Oh, you're asking Mike, but yeah, it's been raining here non-stop as well, Richard. But thank you as well, Hotshot, again. Cheers. This has been a really, really good stream for donations. I appreciate it. Right, so let's have a go now. So we've got the lighter fluid in there. There we go. as you can see, Zippo lights, and it's working absolutely fine. Some other people might be able to help you with that. I know there's some things you can't use Jan. Some people have said white spirit's good, but I found it's not really worked when I've tried it. I mean, proper lighter fluid is the best thing, but if anybody else in the chat knows anything good, please suggest it. How does an exhale valve work on a gas mask? Is that what you're asking, Uncle Sasha? I can show you if you want. Okay. Alright, that's interesting to know, Mike. I might have to set up a PayPal, but the thing is I don't want to use my normal PayPal for donations, because obviously it's linked into all my, like, real name and address. Yeah, let me find B-Store's eBay thing for you, and then I'll demonstrate for Uncle Sasha how a valve works on a gas mask. I just need to get a different one. B-Store... Hang on a second... I should have them favourited on my thing. Tell you what, let me just search on eBay for like FP5 filter or something. I should be able to find B-Store pretty quickly doing that, because he should be bookmarked, but I can't, for whatever reason, see the bookmark coming up. Right, I found him. Although this says B-Store too, so I don't know if he has a second account now. Ah, yeah, it says, we are starting with our second account, so hello to our new customers, new shop, new ideas, new products. Anyway, I'll link you to his new account then. Oh, has he still got the old one? There's the link to his new one anyway. Right, let me show you exhale valves. I've got a Chinese mask here to demonstrate it. Right. Most modern masks work using a thing I think they term umbrella valves. This one isn't the standard shape. Basically it's pinned in at the middle, and then the idea is that you've got the pin that holds it in place in the middle, and then the valve can only flap one way, so you've generally got like plastic or something stopping it going the wrong way. Most masks work on that principle, where the valve is bigger than the ridge it sits on, so the valve can only move in one direction. If that makes sense? Alright, cheers, Jan. So the intake valves work the exact same way, just the opposite way round, basically in essence. I thought I said you joined Killstrike. Hang on, let me have a look. You're on my friends list now, aren't you, Killstrike? Yeah, right. Invite to server, weapons and stuff, 93. It says you sent an invite to join the server. Does that work, Killstrike? It's showing you as in it now, Killstrike. Alright, cool, yeah. Yeah, if you... Let me Google it for you, Uncle Sasha, because I should be able to... is it umbrella valve? Yeah, Google umbrella valve, literally like, you know, a rain umbrella, and then you'll get them come up. I think and you can see diagrams of how they work, but yeah, most masks use umbrella valves. I'm just seeing, does this Scott M98 have obvious... I'll tell you what, the umbrella valves in the nasal bit for this one should be quite obvious, so let me demonstrate this to you. So, basically, if I get the thing up so I can see the live chat. Basically, the umbrella valves are these bits. So as you can see, they sit on like a disc, and they basically just go one way. So the reason they won't go in the other way is because the thing's physically blocking them. You can buy umbrella valves in bulk online. So all you need to do if you're making something for an umbrella valve is the middle bit of the umbrella valve essentially sits in a hole, so it can't come out. That's the other side of it. So that's what it looks like on that side. Then obviously on this side. But that's how valves have worked in gas masks for ages. Other than flapper valves, most masks use some sort of umbrella valve, because it's very simple and it works very well. B-Store sent me this one for free as a Christmas present last year, but if you wanted to get one of these, a Scott M98 or a Scott Pro Mask, around £100 I think, depending on how much they're being sold for and whatever. But there's variants to this. There's like the Scott Pro Mask, which I think is the industrial one, the M98, which is the military variant, like I've got with the drinking tube, and there's a couple of other Scott masks, which are basically this mask, with slightly different names. But like you said, Laser Point Production, I'm going to put this one in my car soon. What I might do is I might buy another satchel bag, actually. Yeah, I'll do that after the stream so I don't forget, and then it's ready for next week. I'll buy another satchel bag, so I've got a good, nice, convenient, lightweight satchel for this, and then I can store it with a particle filter and a regular filter in my car or whatever, like I do with the FM12. So like you said, when I'm volunteering, I've got something that looks a bit less threatening, because it's got the big panoramic lens. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest, what a fair price is for one, because, like I said, it's one of those masks I probably wouldn't have bought anyway unless I'd been sent it for free or unless I saw it cheap, because as I said, I tend to, what I do with masks is I only tend to buy them and lots of other military stuff if I spot something that seems like a really good deal, otherwise I'll just wait. Out of, like, older pistols, the Browning High Power, with more modern ones, the SIG P226, but sadly I don't own any of them, obviously, because I'm in the UK. Yeah, the reason I'm streaming a lot, Mr. J, is just simply because, as I've said before, like, I do 3 videos a week now because I work at weekends and, you know, like I volunteer during the week and do a lot of other stuff. So I can quite easily film 3 videos and edit them and render them a week, but editing, rendering and all that with videos still takes quite a long time. But if I'm streaming, I can easily find an hour or plus a day where I can just sit down and do a stream most days. Not every day, because stuff does pop up, and Saturdays I can't normally because I'm working. But when I'm streaming, at least, the nice thing is that I can, you know, like what I'm saying, because I don't have to edit these or anything like that. I can just sit in front of the computer, talk to you guys. We can chat about stuff. I can try and answer questions that, you know, are good, that people want to know, and I can sometimes demonstrate them. You know, like saying, like explaining how these valves work in real time. Actually, I think on this mask, one of the valve assemblies comes out. So if I can get the valve assembly out, I can show you the thing even better. Which one is it that comes out? So this bottom one, I think one of these does actually come out, because I've removed it before. But bear with me a moment. I can't remember how much of this you have to disassemble to get it out, but ah, yeah, it's this one, it unscrews. I work at an animal shelter, I volunteer at an animal shelter. So yeah, there's another valve bit for you, so you can see how the valve works. The Blue Cross, so it's just cleaning out, feeding animals, that kind of thing, like pets that have had to be given up or they've been abused, and we try and rehome them and stuff like that. I just like animals, so I, you know, volunteer with animals. Right, there you go, Uncle Sasha. There's an umbrella valve for you, removed from the mask. So, as you can see, the valve can't go this way because that thing is blocking it behind. So you'd need to put some sort of wire if you were putting one in a mask or something to block it from going the wrong way. So that's why the valve only goes the one way, because it can only literally, you know, move one way, because that's how it's assembled into the mask. Yeah, that'd be a good video, Rich, if you can build one and demonstrate how you did it, but £500 for literally a weight on a counterweight kind of thing is very expensive, isn't it? That's the L1A1 SLR, which is the British Army version of the FN FAL they used from the 1950s to the 1980s, if I remember the years right. But if you know what the FN FAL is, it's just the British version of that that's semi-automatic only and has a couple of different design choices on it. Well, you could exhale through the filter, Uncle Sasha, but it'll wear the filter out faster. And if you have a system where you exhale and inhale through the same bit, it's harder to set up TISO tubes. So the idea is that you have a valve system where obviously the air comes in, it defogs the lenses, and then ideally you want the exhale valve in the chin sort of area like it is on here. So your sweat drains into the bottom part of the mask, and then when you exhale, the sweat comes out with your breath. So that way you have a mask that's a lot more comfortable for the user and your filters last longer. So yeah, in theory, yes, you can just have a mask where you could breathe in and out through the filter and you wouldn't even have a valve on the filter intake. Because what you could just do is have that, have no valve there, have the 40mm bit where the filter screws in, and then you could breathe in and out through the filter. It would wear the filter down faster, and for like user comfort and everything, it makes a lot more sense to cycle the air through the mask. £200 doesn't sound like a bad price at all for a deactivated rocket launcher. I was thinking about getting one a while ago and then didn't end up getting one. But yeah, like 200 odd quid, considering the price of something like a deactivated SLR now with barely any moving parts is like £1,000. Yeah, £200 for a big rocket launcher or like anti-tank thing or anti-aircraft missile or whatever. It's a very good price. Yeah, I've got a Czech CM3 and I've got a Polish MC1, where they're pretty much the same mask. The Czech CM3 is more comfortable because it's got like the nicer rubber on it and the better straps, although the Polish MC1, it's easier for people to hear you talking it because it's got kind of like that pseudo voice diaphragm, where they put a metal grate outside the exhale valve, so when you talk it does amplify it a little bit. Polish FP5 filters will fit it, Mr. J. I believe modern Chinese filters will as well. Or you can put rubber O-rings in and then fit 40mm NATO filters to it. So it's not like the GP5 is bad full stop for preppers, it's just there's a lot of limitations. That's why I'd kind of say, you know, there's so many good surplus 40mm NATO masks on the market. You might as well go for a 40mm NATO mask rather than the GP5 if you want one for serious prepping. Sadly, Sarah, it's not in this room. There's videos on my channel of it if you want to see it, but because it's not stored in this room, I think the Polish MC1 might be in this room. If it is, I'll show you the MC1. Yeah, the Polish MC1 is in this room, which is very similar, but the CM3 isn't. The CM3 is stored in a totally different room. So, don't want all these falling off the shelf now. Alright, Shot Zombie and Ajax. D&B Military is where I got mine from, Michael, but they've gone up quite a lot since I got a lot of mine. So yeah, this is a Polish MC1. It's very similar to the Czech CM3. The straps on it aren't as nice, the rubber's not as comfortable, but it's still a good enough mask. I'll breathe for a very short period through the questionable MS4 filter for you. But the reason I've said before to people I trust these more than GP5 filters is simply because at the top there, I don't know if you can see it, it's got a proper particle layer rather than just a bit of cotton wool. So it makes me think, you know, this filter would actually block the stuff from leaking out of the filter into the mask a lot more efficiently. No, sadly I don't have a Chinese coffee can filter. Yeah, they looked interesting, didn't they? They're like the modern HEPA filters, aren't they? In like a GP5 casing, but it's a black GP5 casing. Yeah, they do look interesting. So this is the Polish MC1 mask, and maybe you can see there that there's a metal grate behind the exhale valve, or in front of the exhale valve before you get to the mask, and that vibrates slightly when you talk, so it's slightly more clear than the Czech CM3 is, but you know, this is a very cheap and cheerful mask. But the good thing about these masks is you can buy them for often about £5 on UK eBay. It's literally one of the cheapest masks you can buy in the UK. The Czech CM3s are like £5 to £10 as well. So if you wanted a gas mask and hadn't got one, I'd recommend these, especially because if you were going to breathe through a slightly questionable filter, I would trust the Polish filters more than the GP5 filters. Like we said, we know the GP5 filters contain asbestos. It's whether or not, you know, any actually leaks out that they pose a risk. But at least with these Polish masks, I'd trust them a bit more. Oh, another good thing of the Polish mask, it smells horrible, but they come with an anti-dim stick. It's a really weird smell to that, but yeah, they come with a tube of anti-dim paste, so you can obviously, if you wanted to, smear some of that on the lenses. Yeah. I wonder if this is a kind of lard they use, because it literally does smell like some sort of weird... It smells like some sort of synthetic grease kind of stuff. It's a really weird smell to that. It's not pleasant, but it does work as an anti-fog thing. But yeah, that's stored in like a little bandolier thing inside the bag. So yeah, it's got an anti-fog thing included with this as well, which is better than the little GP5 stick-in lens things. My favourite check mask, out of all the ones I've got, probably... Well, the CM3 is the one I find the most practical. The Czech CM4 is a better mask, but it doesn't fit me as well. So, out of all the Czech masks I've got, the Czech CM3 is my favourite. Some of the more modern not Czechoslovakian, because it's Czech Republic now, obviously, but some of the more modern Czech masks look a lot better, but I don't have those. I've only got the M10, M10M, CM3 and CM4, I think, are all the Czech masks I've got. Well, if I find a Chinese coffee can for sale, I will order one. Sadly, I've not got any Romanian masks, Uncle Sasha, because I'd love to, but I know most Romanian masks are like copies of the Geiger M65, the one that's there, like the Bulgarian one is next to it. But sadly, every time I've looked, most of the Romanian masks on eBay have been really expensive for what they are. They've been like, you know, like £50 for an M65 clone. I didn't really want to pay that. As I said, I don't. If I spot one cheap, I'll buy one. That's generally my mentality towards buying stuff. Do you know, Laser, if they've got the little screw-in bit like the old Soviet coffee cans did? Because if they did, you could just screw a particle filter under it, couldn't you? Oh, you have a link. Cool. Post it on Discord, please, and I'll have a look. I wouldn't pay £18 for a single filter owl mask, Gazoa, if you mean just for the filter. But if I can get a mask combined with one of those filters, I get one. Let me just search Chinese mask on eBay. I know normally you have to search something like Soviet spray paint, don't you? Chinese mask. I just want to see... I found some racist masks that make you look like a Chinaman, but not Chinese gas masks. Right, let me just search Soviet spray paint, like I always do, and all the Chinese ones are listed under that. I'm just seeing if any of these come with a filter. Like the coffee can style one, because if they do, I'd rather, you know, just spend a little bit more and get another mask with it. Global Fashion Shop 2017, I bought masks from them before. What other ones have they got? They've got quite a few on here. I'm just seeing if they have some of those 3M clones that are in 40mm, because if they do, that would be a good thing to buy. Sadly, not that I can see. Anyway, let me go back to the chat, sorry. Alright, cool, I'll check Discord for that. Yeah, these ones are $20, aren't they? So I wouldn't probably spend $20, but thank you anyway, Laserpoint. But yeah, what I'll do is, I'm sure at some point soon I'll find another Chinese mask for sale that comes with one, and then I'll just do that. Because with some of them, you can often get the coffee can filter bundled in for like the similar price that comes with a mask, so I'll just do that. In general, Michael, a size medium or size 2 NATO mask is what would fit an average head. Because with most masks, size 2 or 3 is medium to medium large. Some of them just say like S, M or L on the mask, like small, medium or large. But just bear in mind with some masks, like the S10, for whatever reason, a size 1 S10 is actually the largest and a size 4 is the smallest. Because they use a reverse number system on them for some reason. But yeah, if you think you've got an average size head, generally a medium size mask is the best choice. I might just look on GearBest quickly, because I know Mike gets a bit of commission if I buy stuff from GearBest, and they sometimes have Chinese masks on there as well. Because I did buy my Chinese 3M clone from GearBest. Oh, that's very interesting. There's one on GearBest that looks a lot like a Soviet Y2K mask. I'm just going to have a look at this a second. It is marginally different, but yeah, there's a Chinese mask on there that looks a bit like the Soviet Y2K. No, GearBest mostly just have the half-face mask. But yeah, I'll have a look into getting one of those Chinese filters at some point. But as I said, I'll try and get it in a good bundle rather than paying a lot for an individual filter. As I've said before, they're certainly better than nothing, Uncle Sasha. But the problem is with a lot of those, they don't do a very good face fit. I think the S10 and FM12, so I think probably all Avon masks are probably sized that way. But most masks aren't. American masks, at least, are just literally S, M or L written on the mask. Soviet-style masks were size 1 or 0 being the smallest, size 4 being the biggest. In theory, I'm sure you could convert a rebreather, couldn't you, to run through a filter? But, I know at least with my Soviet IP4 and IP5s, they're opposite threaded to the normal masks. So you know how most masks, the mask has the female connector and the filter's got the male connector. Rebreathers are done the opposite way, and I assume that's so you can't accidentally run them on a filter, not an airline. But yeah, you could, but the thing is, could you exhale the air through the air tank? Would that work? Because obviously most scuba masks and everything have an actual exhale valve, don't they? Because you breathe the air in through a tank and then you exhale it out the mask. Whereas rebreathers recycle the air. So I don't know what would happen if you put an air tank on it. Would it just keep inflating the mask till it like pinged off your face? Right, COL masks. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Richard. Rebreathers don't have exhale valves because that's the whole point of them, because they recycle the air. You breathe in and out of the same hose, and then it's essentially like, you know, like in a loop like that. So when you exhale, it goes through one side of the scrubber unit, and when you inhale, it's coming out the other side of the scrubber unit. I think when you exhale, it's almost going directly into the tank, but when you inhale, it's coming out of the bladder, isn't it, which is attached to the other side of the tank. I don't know individually buying them, but if you search Noah on eBay, Soviet paint spray mask, even though they're not Soviet masks, there's Chinese TF1 or the Chinese industrial variants of the TF1 that come with those filters. There's a few masks I really hate, Alenka. I'm not a big fan of the Scott GSR, as I've gone on about before. What were some of the other ones I don't like? The Hungarian M76 looks really cool, but it's not a very good mask. I used to play Team Fortress 2 a lot, but I've not played it in years. I've got Overwatch, and I've not played that in ages either, but... problem with TF2 is I found that as they added more and more updates, it kind of just completely debalanced the game, and it became not very fun. The wool is the bit, you might mean the wick, Jan, or you might mean the wool. So there's the wick, which is obviously like how a candle burns. The wick soaks up fuel, and then the wick ignites with the fuel on it. But the wool inside is just the wool keeps the liquid, essentially fuel, soaked into the wool. That's how it evaporates through the wick. No, never played Apex Legends. Right, post a picture on Surplus then of the salty GP5. Essentially, just when it's totally burnt down. But all you do with the wicks is you can keep pulling them through. So, I can't really demonstrate this easily because I don't have a pair of good pliers handy. But what you do is you just pull a bit more of the wick up each time you want to use more of it. So the wicks in these will last years if you're not using the lighter all that frequently. Yeah, please, laser point, send it me and then I can at least have a look at it. No spoilers, Ajax, because I've not played. Thank you. Yeah, they were the ones I was thinking of, because they're the ones Hype said was a lot better, didn't he, than that pewter one I've got where the straps keep pinging off. Okay, so this is $30, free shipping. So it wouldn't even cost me £30, would it? Right, what I'll do is I'll get this after the stream, I reckon. And then we can evaluate it. This might be a good mask for volunteering as well, actually, saying that, because it's got nice full face thing. It kind of reminds me of the GP9 a bit as well. Has it got a voice diaphragm on there, or is it just an exhale valve? But anyway, I'll get one after the stream. Because I've had more donations this stream than the price of that mask, so it makes complete sense to get one. This same seller has a lot of other masks in, like the TF1 kind of ones, and let's just click industrial respirators and masks. Sorry to blow my nose because my hay fever's been playing up a bit today. Sorry about that. They've got one of those dustproof sanding hoods as well, which is quite interesting. Because it kind of looks like the old Fallout kind of nuclear worker things where they have those hoods on. But yeah, I'll get one of those masks after the stream, thank you. Does it specify the size on there? Doesn't mention the size, does it? I'll still risk it, but hopefully it's a medium size. No, I don't think that's a UK site, is it? Sportsmanship Guide. I'll have a quick Google, but I've never bought from them. Oh, Sportsman's Guide, yeah, they're a US site, aren't they? Yeah, I've never bought from them. Let me search M59 Italian gas masks. I probably have, but I don't have one in my collection. Yeah, I have seen that one. It's cool looking, but sadly I don't have one. But yeah, it looks a bit sinister, that mask. I quite like it. Yeah, it looks like there is a voice diaphragm, like you said. It looks like the exhale valve's got a diaphragm sort of built into it, doesn't it? So yeah, I'll go for one, and I'll just have to hope it comes in a good size, because yeah, I've had enough donations to cover the price of that, so yeah, thank you for everybody that donated on the stream. You've bought me another gas mask, and paid towards the Geiger counter. See you, James. Yeah, that's a very brown looking GP5, isn't it? I like how the colour of the mask on that is almost the exact same colour as the intake-outtake valve bit. You've literally got a camo GP5 there. Yeah, I just saw, thanks. But yeah, there's a video that I've got coming out at some point in the next couple of weeks that shows UV damage to masks, and some of those have gone like sort of camo brown colours, although obviously it's not done the rubber of the mask any good. Just because I did it as a hobby to start with, just something fun to do in my spare time, you know, and then I sort of became quite popular on here, which is nice, but it's one of those things I think I do to keep my own sanity a bit, because, you know, I do speak to some people that don't seem to have any hobbies outside of going to work or anything else. Alright, cool. Yeah, that's thanks again, Laserpoint. But yeah, that's a good thing to know, actually. Because if it is a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, then yeah, I'll risk it anyway. But yeah, hopefully you're right. Hopefully it's just one of those ones like some of the Israeli masks, like the 4A1s, where it just has a very big rubber valve area, like peripheral seal, and then yeah, you just tighten the straps as needed. Yeah, and then make sure you say does not contain asbestos in the green filter. Scrim netting you can get on eBay a Killer Pac-Man. Surplus shops on eBay, loads do it, or you can buy new scrim nets from China for like £3 each, which are actually pretty big and good. I've got a British Mickey Mouse mask, but not the US one, because the US one is incredibly rare. But I've got a red and blue British children's Mickey Mouse mask. Well, we'll see, Laserpoint. But as I said, I've had enough donations on this stream that has covered the price of the mask. So thanks to everybody, including you, that's donated. Because obviously, when it turns up in like a month's time after I order it, if assuming UK customs don't steal it, we'll have to hope they don't. But I'll risk it because recently some of my parcels have actually come through. Do you know what the model of it's called? Similar list. If I see one at a good price, I might. But do you know what the actual model name is? I'll Google UK Police Firearms Helmet and see if I can see the one you mean. Do you mean the ones that kind of look like cycle helmets? I've never liked the look of those. I suppose they're probably practical, but I just do not like the look of those ones that look like cycle helmets, especially the ones where they've got like little big vent holes there, and you think, if you've got a 3A Kevlar helmet, but you've got really big holes in the helmet, you know, where a bullet could go through, that kind of defeats the point, doesn't it? But I mean, my commando style armed police one is definitely good enough for what I actually need a helmet for. Bart's on holiday at the moment in Germany with his girlfriend, but at some point I'll try and rope him into doing another live stream again. Yeah, as I've said a few times, I don't know tutorials. If people donate either in the Super Chat or on Patreon, they get a Discord link. So I've got a Discord where it's for patrons or donators only, basically. But it's not some sort of cool super secret club or anything, it's just generally people talking about video games and surplus. Well, I'm assuming the pyro is just somebody going, hmm. I doubt it's actually anybody really talking for a gas mask. Yeah, I got my M40 from Germany. There was a German seller that had a load, so I just bought an M40 from Germany in the end. Let me search which one. Oh, the Italian one. Well, I was saying I don't have the Italian one, so I can't comment on how good it is. But if it's like an Israeli M15 or a Geiger M65 kind of mask, which it looks like from the pictures, it does look like it'd be a good mask. If I see an M45 for sale, shot zombie, just like the Blumenthal, you keep going on about. But the thing is, M45s are pretty rare in the US, aren't they? So it's even harder to find somebody in Europe that's got one for sale. At the moment, I think there's some M50s on sale for the £50 to £100 region again. But when I got my M50, I bid £50 on. I was going to bid up to £100 on it. But I was the only one who ended up bidding on one. The starting bid was £50, so I got it for £50 plus postage, so it's like £53 in total or something. And I was quite lucky because the seller had put higher starting bids on the medium ones, so I thought I'll go for a small one, even though it probably won't fit me, and then it turns out a small M50 actually fits me pretty snugly. Oh, do you mean if you had a like camo pattern on a gas mask? Well, really just, I guess, green and browns. Oh yeah, $80 for an M45 is a very good price, isn't it? Because they're pretty rare. But like I said, the thing I'm most excited about getting is that Geiger counter, because now it's been dispatched. Because I am very, very excited to get that Geiger counter, as I'm sure you lot can imagine. You know, and then we can have some Geiger ASMR on streams, as it ticks very, very loudly as I put the alpha probe next to radioactive sources. Zebra Sonic free. Okay, let me search those up. The chat keeps moving when I'm trying to copy your thing. Okay. Yeah, they're better than the ones I found, some of the ones on Google Images, because they at least don't have the big holes in the front. But yeah, they're still going to be Kevlar 3A though, aren't they? So they're not going to be any better in terms of protection, my helmet. They just cover less of your head. Yeah, they look like they'd be pretty practical, but I don't see much use for them myself. Because, you know, I like how my Pascat style one is that gives you more head protection. But, you know, if you wanted a lighter weight helmet that covers less of your head, fair enough. I'll see if I can find you an S10 for a good price at the moment, but I'd say £30 a good price for an S10, but they often cost more. Right, let's have a look. S10 gas mask. There's one with 4 bids on it at the moment for £21. There's one S10 for £77 with 20 bids on it. I don't know why people are bidding so high on that one. Another one, £36, 13 bids. One for £60, buy it now. One for £55, buy it now. One for £26 with 2 bids on it. One for £26 with 4 bids on it. One for £40, buy it now. That's not a bad price at all for an S10. But yeah, I'd say £40 and up you're looking as the average price at the moment, unless you get the cheapest bid on one. Yeah, I've had a few where I felt a bit guilty where I've won a bid for not much money and the seller's almost had to pay more postage than, you know, almost what the item's worth, which is a bit of a shame really for the seller, isn't it? But I guess they should have put a higher starting bid on in that case. Yeah, but maybe they want an actual S10 heavy weapons guy. But as said, if you want an S10 and they're cheaper, get an FM12, because quite often you can get FM12s now for less than S10s, and the FM12 is a better mask than the S10. Right, M59 gas mask, let me look it up. As in the Yugoslavian M1/M59 or the Italian M59. But the Italian one looks good. Like I said, I don't have one though, so I can't really comment how good it actually is. Maybe it has some horrible design flaws I don't know about. Right, I've been going for an hour and 25 minutes, so I'll probably go for another 5 or so minutes, then it's a neat hour and a half stream. But I do really appreciate all the donations tonight, thank you, because that's covered the price of that Chinese 3M style gas mask, which should be good, because that's an actual practical mask as well, because it's a full panoramic face. And I can do a review on that, and if that's good, I'll recommend those to people, because as it's like £30, you know, that's not a bad price for a brand new mask if it actually turns out to be quite good. Over 100, Jimmy. I don't know the exact number anymore. Is a dab one of these modern kid things, Uncle Sasha? It's like some weird arm movement thing, isn't it? But I'm really out of touch with all you modern kids' dance moves. I know I've seen celebrities doing dab things because it thinks that makes them look popular, like elderly politicians. Because isn't there a picture of Hillary Clinton dabbing because she thought it'd get her votes or something? eBay, Sarah. On eBay, search MM1 gas mask. I'm just going to make sure I don't close the link to this one because I don't want to lose the one I'm on for this one. But MM1 gas mask. Yeah, there's some coming up. If you search MM1, there's ones coming up on eBay. So yeah. At least on UK eBay, there's ones coming up. This is interesting. What mask's this? Sorry, I just spotted something a bit weird. There's a mask on here that looks like an Israeli M15. It is an Israeli M15, but it has like a secondary voice diaphragm on like the left cheek. I don't know, did the Israelis do an extra voice diaphragm on later M15s? Because my M15 certainly doesn't have that, but that's quite interesting. It's like, you know how you've got the drinking tube on one side of it, it's got like an XL valve a bit like the S10 does, like a voice diaphragm XL valve thing on that side, as well as the one in the front. So that's quite interesting. My favourite American gas mask out of the ones I've got is probably the M9A1. No, I'm not a fan of the GP7, it looks good on a mannequin, but I don't think it's a very good mask personally. If you wanted one for a costume piece, they're pretty cool, but I wouldn't really recommend it because the build quality on them's all over the place. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody, before the stream ends, just because a few more likes might help the next stream get shared a bit more, but this has been a very good stream for views and people donating and just having a good chat. Depends. Some memes I like, some memes I don't really find funny. It depends on the meme, really. I think the problem with most memes is a lot of them get done to death, don't they, to the point where they're not funny anymore. I've got a Czechoslovakian CM3, a CM4, an M10 and an M10M. But none of them are stored in this room, so I can't show them you on this stream. At least I don't think any of them are stored in this room. Right, see you, Ajax. Thanks for coming on and commenting. But yeah, like the M40 is a pretty good modernish US mask, and the M45 is good from the people who have got one and talked about it. But yeah, I like the old US M9A1 because, you know, the Finnish M61's a better clone of it, but, you know, M9A1s were good masks. They were certainly better than the M17. My favourite Russian masks, the Soviet-era SHMS or SHMS. If you mean modern Russian masks, probably one of the more modern GP9 variants. Because apparently they're putting really good straps and stuff on those now. I'd love to get a SHM 2012 at some point now. You know, like the GP7 or the PMK's voice diaphragm and eyepieces, but on a GP5. Oh, that's interesting. Is that because they've got the weird shaped eyepieces that they have a bad field of view? Or is it like how far they sit from your eyes? Because I've got a few masks where the lenses should be good, but they just sit too far away from your, face where the, like, cushioning is. Cool, Ween. I'll be streaming tomorrow, but, thank you, but it'll have to be an earlier stream tomorrow because I work Saturday. When I stream Friday, I try and stream earlier in the day, and Weapon Collector does an evening stream Friday, so normally Friday evening I like to just relax before work, so, I have my dinner and I have a bath or a shower, and then in my pyjamas I watch Weapon Collector stream. So when I stream on a Friday, it tends to be sort of midday kind of time. Oh, cool. Link me on thing, and then I'll choose which one I want to get. Mate, yeah. Let's have a look at this one then. Which one do I like the look of more? So this one's like one where you can use the 3M filters, is it? Or you can use 40mm by the look of it. Interesting. Can be fitted with hose filter cartridge, but sadly package includes one piece face mask. I was hoping then that one came with a coffee can, because if it did, I'd definitely go for that one. I'll probably go for the first one you linked, because I think Hype said they're good before, and I like the fact that the entire face piece is see-through. Yeah, if I bought both though, it would be like 60 quid. So I'll go for the first one, but I'll probably get that other one at a later point, I reckon. Yeah, like I said, bad reviews on the other one. There's only one review, isn't there? But although they spout waste as in like your waste, not waste like you're wasting something. So the person who gave a bad review can't spell, but okay. Yeah, the first one's got a much nicer looking head harness, and like what I like with the first one is they've done a really similar thing to this Scott one, where it's got like, looks like it's got clear silicone for the nose bit, for the oral nasal cup. So hopefully where the entire front bit is like, see-through plastic or whatever, and it's got a clear silicone oral nasal cup, hopefully that other one will be very good, the 3M style one. The first one you linked, for actually giving you like a really good field of view in it. I have no idea, Uncle Sasha. The one I'm looking to buy is called Safety Paint Spray Gas Mask Full Face Face Piece Respirator with Filter 40mm. So buzzwords, but yeah. That's the one I'm going to buy any minute now when I finish the stream. My favourite gun I own is the L1A1 SLR, but it's deactivated. That's probably my favourite gun ever anyway, just because I love the cool retroness of it. Anyway, thank you for all the donations, everybody. It's been a really good stream for donations. We've had a really good chat tonight about stuff. I've not got annoyed at any point during this stream, so thank you. I'll answer your question before I go off Kill Strike, but the best way of testing a mask is with stuff like banana oil. So you put the mask on with a filter, you get the mask tight, and then you use something like banana oil that gives off a really strong odour to see if you can smell anything. If you can't smell anything, you know the mask and filter's working. If the smell's getting through, you know either the filter's not working or the mask's not making a good seal to your face, or there's a broken valve. But thank you, everybody. Yeah, I'm in the UK, I'm in England specifically. Been a great stream. Thank you for all the donations, as I said. Oh, thank you again, Laser Point. You're too kind. Thank you. But yeah, what I'm going to do as soon as I end this stream, I'm going to order one of those masks, and then the sooner I order it, the sooner it will come. But yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been a brilliant stream. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you on Twitch in a bit, Mike. But yeah, thank you, everybody. See you. Have a great evening. Bye.